are you both today?
Fine.
Okay. I'm fine. I was wondering if it's okay that I take some notes throughout the session.
That's fine.
I won't show the notes to anybody without your consent, of course. Okay. So I wanted to talk about what happened, what we talked about last session. How did this week go? We had discussed that you, Mrs. Wilmot, you would go back to bingo with your daughter. So how did that go? Were you able to do that?
We went again.
And what was your experience with that?
It was the same as last time. I don't know how she felt about it, but I thought it went pretty okay.
Okay. And why, Matilda isn't here today. Why did she not come today?
She had some important things at school she couldn't miss.
Okay. So, going along with school, Mr. Wormley, we talked about you going to the science fair with her.
Yes.
How did that go?
It went fine. She won a prize, I guess. I was just there with her.
Okay.
Like she wanted me to be.
Okay. And how did that affect your relationship with her?
I spent time with her. That's what she wanted, so that's what I did.
How did you feel during that time?
I don't know. I was just like standing next to her.
You
Trying
could
not
tell
to.
he didn't want to be there.
It's not that I wanted to be there. I just don't like making small conversations with parents.
Yes, I was there as well.
Okay. And how did it go for you? How did you feel about it?
I was rather annoyed. You could tell my husband had an attitude the entire time.
I did
he
not
was
have
there.
an attitude. I just didn't want to talk to people.
So you thought he had an attitude and you were simply annoyed. So how does it feel hearing your wife say that you were annoyed and you can counteracting that?
She's always wrong, like always. I was not annoyed.
So I sense some defensiveness.
Defensiveness?
You
From
have to
her.
defend yourself from what she's saying because it's inaccurate. Is that correct?
Well, yes. It's not accurate. That's what you're saying.
So you're saying I'm wrong?
So
Like
I'm
always.
saying that he senses that he feels like he has to defend himself from what you are saying because he doesn't agree with it. So how does that make you feel? Because last session as well, there were some moments where you were empathizing more with Matilda and understanding a little more how she was
Empathizing, what is
feeling. Realizing your wife was feeling, she was understanding a little more how your daughter was feeling and kind of seeing things through her eyes, it seemed like. Correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, Matilda says what she wants. You, on the other hand, you just sit there.
That's what you wanted me to do, to be sitting here. I do what you two women tell me to do. I was complaining about that.
Okay, so this is kind of a different dynamic from when we started out in the session. In the beginning, Mr. Ormond, you seemed very much in control. You said several times that you were the man in charge. How are you feeling? What's different from then to now?
I don't know. She's getting more attached to Matilda now, and she's not spending time with me, so.
How does that make you feel?
Annoyed, like I'm not being taken care of.
So you're jealous of a child.
I'm not jealous of a child. I just miss our private times together. You know what I mean?
We spent 6 hours together, just like they asked us to do, so I don't understand.
Yeah, but you're always tired. You don't want to do anything.
I'm a mom.
I have needs too. I'm your husband.
So this is interesting. So we had talked last session about spending time together for about 8 hours
Mhm.
though, each week. And you mentioned 6 hours, but it seems like the 6 hours, at least for Mr. Wormwood, didn't go as planned or as he needs them to go. Is that correct?
Yes.
So how does that make you feel, Ms. Wormwood, when you're
He's never
taking this time?
satisfied. In our first session, when you asked us how much time we could spend together, he asked for a ridiculous amount of time. Like, there's not even that many hours in a day. He's never satisfied with anything I do.
And how does that make you feel that your wife is saying that you're never satisfied?
It's not that I'm not always satisfied, it's just that she doesn't want to do anything. She's tired.
Okay. So I'm sensing here a need for closeness on Mr. Wormwood's part.
Closeness, if you want to call it that.
Well, it seems like you want more closeness with your wife,
Yes.
and you're not getting it.
No.
But on the other hand, Ms. Woman, you mentioned you're tired, you're a mom, you don't have that much time in the day.
Exactly.
So it seems like you're trying to,
I believe it.
but you don't feel like Mr. Wormwood's satisfied. But on the other hand, Mr. Wormwood, you really miss spending more time with your wife and feel like she's spending more time with Matilda now. So you both are trying in your own ways to work through this. We just need to come to a consensus on what would work for both of you and what would meet both of your needs. So, what can you think of any ideas of what might be a middle ground for both of you on spending time together? Because that does seem like a very important thing for Mr. Wormwood. Is it important for you?
Yes, if it's important to him, it's important to me.
That attitude, not romantic at all.
Well, if you spend a little bit of time doing all the things that I have to do during the day, you would understand.
So this is interesting. So you're saying that if he spent more time doing the things that you do, that he would understand where you're coming from?
Yes, it's like I spend all day taking care of the kids, and then you want me to take an additional 8 hours out of my day to hang out with you. Maybe you came along with some of the kids and did some of that stuff.
It was not 8 hours there, it was 8 hours a week.
It was still a lot.
So, and Mr. Wormwood, you work, correct?
Yes.
So you
If
come
that's
home.
what you call it.
Brings your income, doesn't it? It's work.
And Mr. Wormwood, you mentioned that you spend a lot of time taking care of the kids.
Yes, I'm the only one that
The kids are at school almost the day.
Yeah, there you go.
So you're taking his side.
I'm asking.
They're there sometimes, but they still have needs.
Right.
And what do you do when they're not at the house?
I cook, I clean, you eat every day, you have clean laundry. Doesn't just happen.
You don't have to clean
magic
clothes every
powers.
day, you can do like once a week.
Now you're making my stuff.
So, you work and you take care of the kids.
Yes, I work as well.
So
You
so
work
you're
doing
both-
what?
That is work.
Woman,
So you're both working, so this is something that you have in common. You both have time limits, time constraints, things that wear you guys down. Your energy levels are affected by the work that you do. So maybe you could use those experiences that you both have in different areas, but in the same common arena to understand one another. And how you both have time limits, but he's willing to put the time in to spend time with you.
That's what he says while we're here. When we're home, it's a different story.
what are you talking about?
All you do is sit in front of the TV all day, every day.
No, I don't. I'm either working and then when I come home, I expect to have some private time with my wife. But she
And what
doesn't
about your
want
kids?
time.
You just walk past them every day.
And Mr. Warner, did you answer that question? What about
I spend time with them when I have to take my son to work. I spend time with him at work. I took Matilda to the school fair thing.
You see how it says it, the school fair thing? You can tell.
I still spent time with her, didn't I?
No. You
So
still.
Yes, I did.
This is an improvement though, because at the beginning of the session, there was no thoughts of spending time with Matilda. Mr. Olmert clearly stated that that was your job to spend time with Matilda and not his.
See, thank you.
I'm glad you brought that up, because it's always my job to do these things. He's going, but he still doesn't care. Matilda tells me that she knows you don't care.
I still go. That shows that I care. I still take the time to go.
That doesn't make her feel loved. That's why she doesn't want to be a part of our family.
She
That
complains
attitude
about
right there.
everything. And since when did you take her side? You wanted to give her up to Miss Honey, remember?
You wanted me to be a mother, so I'm doing it.
So you guys are both putting in effort. I see that because Mr. Wormwood, he went to the school fair event, and that's a big step for him because he mentioned how he didn't think that it was his job. It wasn't what he was supposed to do, and so he's stepping out of his comfort zone. Would you say that that's fair?
Yes, it is. See, at least somebody understands.
And on the other hand, Mrs. Wormwood, you are also stepping up to what Mr. Wormwood mentioned previously of you being a mother, and you are trying to fulfill that role. So I see you both putting an effort into this. Do you feel like this has been helpful? Do you feel like there's been any progress? What are your thoughts on the sessions so far?
I've made progress.
We both have made progress, woman.
Made more progress.
It's progress, nonetheless, isn't it? Now we just need to have some
You're
more
right, you're
time
right.
together.
You're
Oh,
right.
look at her. Now she's agreeing.
So, have you ever heard of I statements?
Here we go. I'm not in school. What is that?
So I statements are where you use your own experience to talk to other people. So I would say I'm glad that you came to the session today. I'm not saying good thing that you came to the session today. Do you understand? I'm putting myself in the sentence and saying it from my perspective and just stating what I am thinking, because both of you have thoughts and opinions and feelings that can't be argued by the other person because that's how you both feel. So I was wondering if we could practice that and try using I statements when you tell me how you have progressed, how you feel you've progressed in the session so far. Do you understand I statements?
Yes, Dr. Phil.
So, Miss Wormwood, I would like to start with you, if that's okay.
Okay.
So how...
I guess. That's a nice statement. She guesses. I, right? Does that count?
It does. So we also talked about being respectful to one another, just so that we can use as much time, the time that we have, productively. So we're not wasting a lot of time, because I know that you are both busy people and you're here and it's already miserable. So you want to move forward and get as much done. Okay?
Fine.
Can you agree on that? So, Miss Wormwood, what would you say, how would you say you have progressed?
I'm a much better mother to Matilda now.
Okay. And what does that look like?
I spend time with her. We do things that we both enjoy. I'm just improved.
Okay. And Mr. Wormwood, what would you say has been the progress that you have made?
I listen more to my wife.
I just told you you don't listen.
Fine. I do what my wife tells me to do more often than before.
Okay.
I disagree.
I disagree with you disagreeing.
Oh my god.
So you stated that you listened more to her, and she said that you did not. So it might be that there is miscommunication on what the word listen means to both of you. Could you explain to your wife what you mean when you say that you listen to her more?
Alright, she wanted me to spend more time with my kids. I did. She wanted money to take Matilda going to bingo. I gave it to her. What else does she want?
Okay. So you heard the needs that she expressed to you, and you gave her the money that she
Of course.
Okay. Would you agree with that? Would you disagree?
I agree, but it's bare minimum. He just handed me the money. He never asked if I'm with us.
Why would I go with
I'm
you? I don't want to
talking.
go with old ladies playing bingo. They
So-
always hit on me.
Now I'm an old lady. Now he's cheating. It's just going all over
I am
the place.
not cheating, I'm just saying.
Okay, so going back, he mentioned that what he meant by listening was that you stated your needs and he provided in the way that he saw fit to provide.
He only
Right.
takes the action. He
Yes.
doesn't do anything
No,
else.
you state your needs, I provide. I state my needs, you don't provide.
I need you not to be stupid.
Okay, remember.
I need you
being
to give me
respectful.
Oh
satisfaction.
my god. Go to old ladies.
So it seems like your definition of listening is far different from Mrs. Wormwood's. Would you be interested in hearing her side of what she means by listening?
Go ahead, start the whining.
I don't have anything to say to that. He's not gonna listen. He called me
I'm
whining.
listening.
So I would like to hear what you mean when you say that he's not listening.
I'll say, I want you to spend more time with Matilda. And he'll say, fine, if you go to the science fair, I'll come with you. He stood on the side the entire time. He didn't look at her project. He didn't talk to her. They made no contact with each other at all.
I was there.
Bare minimum.
Okay. So, as going back once again to the previous sessions that we've had, and you mentioned that it was your job to be with Matilda, and you stated earlier, or you agreed in my question that you were going out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Did I understand that correctly?
Yes.
So, maybe these are steps that Mr. Wormwood is taking to improve. And as you have done, you have made changes, so are you, Mr. Wormwood. Those changes look different because you're both different people, but you both believe that you have progressed, and I can see the progress that you're making, and I see the effort that you're both making. So, but I really want to, I feel like you need help communicating better, because you still seem to be very, you will use a word and you will use the same word, but you don't quite intersect. You kind of pass each other by in the conversation, and then arguments start. So I was wondering what that looks like at home. Does that happen at home?
I don't really think we argue. We're just talking.
Okay. What would you say to that?
I talk and she whines.
Okay, so that's a miscommunication that I had. So I use the word argue, but you would say it's talking. So that's a perfect example of what I mean. So at home, you guys talk.
Well, I talk, he sits there like this. Occasionally he'll say something back.
I'm still listening to whatever you're saying. It's whining, but I still listen.
Some disrespectful whining.
It's listening.
So, Mr. Wormwood, you also mentioned in previous sessions that when Matilda talks, it's very annoying to you. I believe that's the word you used.
Yes.
So, what are the specific things that annoy you, perhaps about Matilda or when your wife talks?
They're always asking for something. They never ask me how I'm doing. Oh, don't look at me like that. You never ask me how I'm doing.
How are you doing?
Just being sarcastic.
He
Just
doesn't
being a
know how
sarcastic
he
little bee. Just being a sarcastic little bee. See what I have to put up with?
So, I would like to touch on that, when you said that they never ask you how you're doing. That must be hard. I want to know how. I want people to ask me how I'm doing. I imagine that you do as well. You seem to miss that part that they don't ask you about. So, Miss Wormwood, would you, what do you say to that?
I just said, how are you doing?
Very sarcastically.
Is that something that you tend to ask him at home?
I mean, I used to have time to hear about his day and all the car stories, but a lot's changed since then, I guess. I haven't done it in
A lot
while.
changed. Like what? You became more lazy? Oh wait, no. You fell in love with our daughter.
How dare I love our child? That makes me a horrible person, right?
This is interesting. So, would you say that your feelings toward Matilda have changed?
I like her a lot better than like someone else these days.
And how does that
Ooh,
make you
burn.
feel? How does that make you feel?
Rejected.
I can see that. It does. It's very hard to hear that. Your wife likes your daughter more than she likes you.
Oh, is that what you said?
That's not what I said.
Is that what she
She's
said?
a liar.
Is that what she
I
said?
never said that.
Oh, really?
I never
Oh,
said
really?
that.
Really? The lady with the diploma here said
You
that.
told me school
And
was
she's
stupid.
smarter than me.
She's a liar.
She's a liar.
She is a liar.
I'm paying a liar now?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
I'm very sorry if I did misunderstand any of what you
Professor
said.
Spangler.
I'm very sorry if I misunderstood anything of what you said.
You're gonna get me a divorce. Did you hear that?
Okay, so I do apologize. So let's clear this up. What did you say earlier?
I go a little bit closer to Matilda these days. She listens to what I have to say without it being called whining. But I mean, she'll never take my husband's place. She's just me.
Okay.
She talks back.
So that is something that has been mentioned throughout the session, that she does talk back, and we mentioned previously how you both felt disrespected by that. I believe those were your words in the previous session.
No, not that kind of talk back. She has conversations with me. Like, I enjoy my time with her. My husband, on the other hand, just sits there while I talk at him.
I listen, don't I?
No.
Yes, I do. You asked for stuff, I gave it to you. You tell me about your day. Have you ever asked me about mine?
I just asked you how was your day.
Yeah, very sarcastically. That's not what I meant.
I'll ask you tomorrow. First thing when we wake up.
Oh
I
my gosh,
promise.
she's gonna schedule this now.
So, Mr. Wormwood, do you ask her about her day?
Of course, that's why she stands there yapping like a parrot about her day. And then she walks away.
And how do you perceive that conversation that he's mentioning?
Well, he calls me a parrot, so that pretty much ends it for me. I can't express myself to someone who doesn't take me serious.
I do take you seriously.
You just call me a bird.
Because you talk like one.
So are those words that are used at home?
Gets a little bit more overt.
It's better to say parrot than saying the other ones, isn't it? You wanted me to change my language, and so I did. And she's complaining about that, too.
I said you were right.
Ooh. Say that again. It was awesome. Just hear that.
So maybe there could be some time out of those 8 hours or however much time that you would both feel comfortable with, considering your busy schedules, in which you could sit down and maybe you would have a list of things to talk about or questions that you think of throughout the day or week to kind of help you work on establishing these new habits.
I'm sorry, Dr. Phil, but I don't think that in a relationship I should be writing down what I need to ask.
Okay.
Especially to my wife.
And that's fine if you don't agree with that. We want to do what makes you feel comfortable. The only reason that I mentioned that would be because perhaps there are things that, fleeting thoughts that you might have throughout the day that you would want to remember. And so to be able to help you remember that, you can write them down. But if you don't feel like you would need that and you can remember without writing them down, then that's great. What about you, Mrs. Wormwood?
Conversation would be a lot better for me if there weren't any name calling. He keeps referring to you as Dr. Phil. Parrots, like the disrespect. Matilda told me what those things mean that you say.
Oh, did she? What did she say the parrot means?
That's what's in there. But she told me.
I bet she did. And she's like your best friend now.
So would this be something that you could possibly agree on to continue working on? Because you have indeed worked on your language. It has improved significantly since we started the session. Good job.
Oh, say that again.
Would you be able to work on that a little more on both your parts? Because he mentioned the sarcasm that when you asked him how he was doing. How did that make you feel when she was sarcastic?
Pissed off.
He's crazy.
Disrespected. Crazy. You just asked randomly and I noticed a sarcastic tone in your voice. I'm not stupid.
So
That was sarcastic too. That too.
So there's a lot of words like parrot and crazy.
Dr. Phil?
But specifically referring to the two of you, between the two of you, words that you use or tone of voice that you might use toward one another that seem to offend the other person. Would you say, Mr. Wormwood, have you been offended by anything that he has said? Mr. Wormwood?
Yes.
Have you been offended by anything your wife has said this session?
Yeah, she calls me crazy and lazy.
So, would those things perhaps be something you could continue working on both your sides to improve the communication between the two of you?
I mean, I won't lie, he is lazy, but I can give it a try. Some of the words aren't necessary. If some are just different.
Oh, really? Just like you are a parrot. It's not necessary, but it's the truth.
I don't have wings in that period. I don't know.
Oh my god. Talk like one.
Okay. Fine. I won't call him lazy. I'll just sit in my head.
Oh, did you just what?
I won't call you lazy.
You can just picture it in your head. It's the same thing. You're gonna be calm, sarcastic. You're gonna still be sarcastic.
I won't do it. I promise.
Mm-hmm.
So, is it enough for you that she stopped using those words, or do you really want her to really believe in it?
She better believe in it. If not, she's not doing anything.
And Mrs. Wormwood, earlier you said that Mr. Wormwood only does the bare minimum when it comes to Matilda, and how he might provide the money, but he doesn't, if you will, believe in what he's doing.
Yes.
So that's a common theme here, in maybe the ideas, the thoughts that you have towards one another, and the perspectives that you have on each other in the relationship, and in the relationship with Matilda in this case as well. What do you think could be done to start changing those thoughts?
Go ahead. You always have solutions to say.
Oh no, it's your turn. Go ahead.
Thanks for your permission. I appreciate it. It's great progress in our relationship. I just think he needs to be more involved. That will make everything better for me.
You want more involvement than I already give?
Yes.
Like what?
Like, smile. Act like you want to be around us.
Smile. I don't smile.
Act like you want to be there. However you can show that.
Oh, so you want me to act? Fine, I'll act.
Acting's a little comfortable. That works for me.
So how do you think what do you think of that she's suggesting act until you become real?
Oh, she wants me to do it, I'll do it.
And Ms. Wormwood, you were both talking earlier how you want her to really believe that you're not lazy, and not to think those thoughts in her head, because it won't change the fact that she doesn't say them. You'll still know that she thinks them. And if you are acting until it becomes real, she'll still know that you're acting. But do either of you see that as helpful tactics in the meanwhile to work to get to a better place?
I think if he gives it a try, honestly, he might enjoy it. I thought Matilda was annoying too. I really did. Her voice gets on the nerves. But when you spend a little bit of time with her, she's not that bad.
Fine. I'll do it.
So dry. I'll take it.
So, in the past, Mr. Ormwood has had a lot more to say, and things that have offended you, as you mentioned earlier, and now he said fine. He didn't say anything offensive.
You didn't hear his tone?
I said fine. What else do you want? Yoo-hoo, fine. Is that better?
Yeah, a little bit.
Sounded homo, but fine.
So it sounds like, Mr. Ormwood, you're already working on that acting piece until it becomes real.
So you want me to act homo?
That is not what I said. Act like a father. That is what I said.
You're completely fine.
And Mrs. Wormwood, how do you think it would help if you did not say those words to him and did not sound sarcastic?
It's worked out in the last few minutes. You know what I wanted to do.
See, that's all she wants. She wants me to do what she wants me to do.
And then I'm going to ask you how your day was. And we're going to have dinner and we're going to be happy. Sound like a plan? It does.
So does that sound like something, like a step forward, like something that would be beneficial?
Give it a try.
Okay. And how, so we talked about how you have progressed in the previous sessions, but how do you feel about this session? Mr. Wormwood, what did you find helpful about this session?
The fact that she's gonna stop being so sarcastic all the time.
And Mrs. Wormwood, what did you find helpful about this session?
But he says he's trying. And I guess when you said the things that he was saying in the first few sessions, I guess there has been some progress.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, what would, Mr. Woman, what would be something that you would like to see in the upcoming sessions that would help you?
I don't know.
Mr. Woman, do you have any thoughts on that?
He's in love with Matilda. I can love him.
I love her. She's still in her house.
So what would it look like if tomorrow morning you wake up and all of a sudden you can tell that Mr. Wormwood loves her? And Mr. Wormwood states that he does love her, but it seems like you don't see that.
I wouldn't have to split up so much of my time. I have to divide my day now. I have to spend half with Matilda to make her feel appreciated, and then I still have to run over here to him, and then I have another child that also needs my attention.
I take care of our son.
If we were a family, then we could just enjoy time together.
Okay, so if you saw that as a family you were enjoying time together, then you would feel like Mr. Wormwood loves Matilda?
Yes.
Mr. Wormwood, what would you feel like if you woke up tomorrow and you knew that your wife felt that you loved your daughter? How would that play out in your relationship?
I love our daughter. I don't know what she's talking about.
And I hear that you really do believe in your love for your daughter, and that's a very good thing. That's where all of this effort that you are both making comes from, is the love that you have for your family. But I'm curious as to how it would play out in your relationship with your wife, because she mentioned that she doesn't see that love. So what do you think, if you did, as a family, spend more time together and enjoy time together, how would that impact your relationship with your wife?
I guess it'll be better because that's what she wants me to do.
And what would it look like if it were better?
I don't picture it being better because I think it's already fine.
So there's anything to improve on in the relationship?
Well, except I want more time with her, but besides that, I think everything else is fine.
So perhaps if Mrs. Wormwood felt that you loved your daughter and you were all spending time together and enjoying time together, that you would hope that she would spend more time with you?
Yes.
Mrs. Wormwood, do you think that's a fair thing to say on Mr. Wormwood's part?
He has to want to be there, though. There's a difference between just showing up and actually partaking in activity. With our son, Michael, he smiles, he laughs, they tell jokes. With Matilda, he just stands there like a corpse. Don't sits there.
Okay.
If I take the time to be with her, it means that I care.
So remember the different definitions and the different meanings that we talked about and the words that you use? Perhaps this is one of them, but we are running out of time, so I just want to remind you of the goals that we set for this week to work on your language and your verbal communication with each other. And Ms. Wormwood, you stated that you would not use words such as lazy or crazy. Mr. Wormwood, you said that you wouldn't call her a parrot.
Or worse. Those different parts.
Or other words. And both of you agreed that it might be more acting in the beginning, but that's something that you did want to see each other doing, at least if acting is the best that you can do. Does that sound right?
Yes.
Is there anything, any concerns or anything that you wanted to add before we end the session for today?
I'm done.
Well, it was a pleasure talking to you both. I think you are doing really well. You're progressing as we talked about, and you are both putting in effort. And I know that this is hard and it's not fun to come to these sessions, but I can tell that you care about